I'm going to talk about it. And that is the people you are hanging around with. It's so cliche. It's been spoken about. It's, everyone talks about it, but do we really talk about how it influences? It influences us, like on a subconscious level. It really does. Especially, when you're kind of leaning in that group to feel wanted, to feel accepted, to feel, not just validated, but like worthy, a sense of belonging, a sense of, purpose. And, sometimes we want to fit in, we want to feel accepted, and we do things that are out of alignment with our true self. And, it's a process we all have to go through, It's just what I want to discuss is that just having the awareness that it really affects, our decisions and our way of looking at things, our perspective, and our results. Because we have callings, to have certain goals, to have certain, purposes and ways of life. And sometimes, we get misguided. We lose focus. We lose control. Damn, there's like no light here. Yeah, so we lose focus. We lose control because we're part of the group collective. It's influencing us to make certain decisions. It's influencing us to prioritize other things other than ourselves. And that is something that one has to make a conscious effort at some point and say, hey, am I going to be, influenced by this group to progress me forward? Or do I have to leave this group because it's not going to influence me in the direction I need to go? It's not going to influence me in the direction I need to prosper in. So these are things you got to be asking yourself, because it's going to happen a lot. And I'm not saying you can't be a part of any group. What I am saying is, are you aware that sometimes the group is going to influence you to do things that are not in alignment with your true self or what you want to do? Sure, you could talk about bullying. Sure, you could talk about peer pressure. But sometimes it's like, do you have the boundaries and the limits? It's like, hey, I already went to the bar last weekend. I'm not going to go again. Or I didn't go to the gym last week. I need to hang around with my gym buddies and hit the gym. I need to hang around the gym buddies that actually get results in the gym. They're eating right. They're waking up on time. They're making priority decisions to do what they got to do for themselves. I need to hang around those people. So it's not just being around certain people and, they're doing certain things, they have certain hobbies and they're good. It's making the overall conscious decision. It's like, hey, is this towards the results I want to get? That's the detailed part. Are these the results I want to get? Because sometimes, like what I've even noticed, like hanging around certain people, they're imposing their values, their beliefs that will garnish you the result they have. And people tend to do this unconsciously, where they want to bring you to their way of living so they could feel comfortable and validated for what they've done. And I've noticed that they're unconscious of it doing. They're unconscious of their own doing, because they might have some fears or limits or mental biases where it's like, hey, if you're not doing what I'm doing, then you're not living the right way. And the way they get you to live their right way is by having you do what they've done. And, it's like, even with myself, I've noticed that when I get to a certain level, like sometimes it can get a little scary because you're probably the only one going through it. You're probably the one that might get there, won't know how to handle it. And yeah, sometimes you gotta hurt some feelings and be like, nah, I can do more, I can do better, I could progress. I mean, we all can. We all can do that. We all could do a little better. We all could progress a lot more. We all could elevate, our experience on this planet, a little bit more better, a little bit more higher. It's a good thing, right? But at the same time, sometimes the people around you, they're not going to take it as well. They're not going to be as happy for you. Maybe they have their limits and they're imposing them, and you're not listening, and now they feel left out. Now they feel that you're too good, and the list goes on and on and on. And basically, it's just part of the process. I mean, you're gonna have to do for you what you got to do for you. There's no ifs and buts about it. There's nothing else. You're gonna have to do what you got to do for you, and you're gonna have to be aware that the people you're surrounding yourself with is going to affect you a lot. So you're gonna have to choose, right? Are the people lifting you up and progressing you forward? Are they impacting you to be your best, or are they impacting you to be your worst? Now, no one's perfect. No group is perfect. Sometimes with certain groups, you're gonna have to have limits and be like, hey, this is not fully me. This is my limit. Y'all can go on without me. It could be the weekend. It could be the tradition of not doing anything. It could be the tradition of, having a certain limit to certain results. It could be a lot of things, but you're gonna have to be conscious of this decision. You're gonna have to have that leadership skill to say, okay, this is my limit with this group. I'm gonna have to pivot here and go in a different direction and make the choices I need to make, even if I leave them behind. Or sometimes you're gonna have to pivot to a different group and say, hey, this group is influencing me to become better, to walk the path I need to walk in order to get the result I need to get. So that's where it comes down to. Are you making that conscious decision, right? Are you making that conscious effort to change? Because yeah, change is hard, People wait for New Year's. I've always been talking about this. People wait for New Year's and I'm gonna change. And it's like, well, why wait for a certain date and time and season to change when you can change right now? So all it takes is a different group to come in and they'll change you. That's the thing, because you're giving up power, you're giving up conscious self-control to something outside of you, and that power has influence over you, rather than you having power and influence over yourself. So it's a battle we have to do. It's these learnings we have to go through, and to understand that, a lot of it comes down to us and our conscious decisions. And it's tough to let go. I ain't gonna lie. It is tough to let go sometimes. It's tough to go out of that comfort zone and get a change. It's tough to, change those nice, comfortable paths that we're used to and we're attached to. And we rely on these things for sure. I ain't gonna lie. It's something we all fall into. But it's part of life, It's like we're going into the autumn season. Things die. They get beautiful and they die off. They fall off the trees. Things change colors and they evaporate into nature, into thin air, into the ether. But also things are born. A new harvest. New introductions, new life. And that's just the cycle that keeps going up and down, over and over. And, we flow with it. Like right now, like some people I know, like they're not in the gym at all. They're not. And they want to. That's the thing. They want to. They know in their heart they want to. They should be. They should be feeling a certain way. They should be, in a certain type of flow with themselves and feeling and looking a certain way and they're not. But once that new year hits, guess what? They're gonna want to be in that flow. They're gonna want to be in that change. They're gonna want to start the process. And it is normal. It is normal. And it's the constant battle. Constant battle. So again, we're gonna go through these battles, we're gonna go through these ups and downs, and you're gonna ask yourself, basically, you know, who you're surrounding yourself with and who is influencing you. And that's gonna determine a lot of the results you get. That's gonna impact you a lot of the decisions you're going to. Morning. That's going to impact you into, you know, the results you're going to be getting. It's like this. It's like New Year's comes, you get into a group of people who are going to start hitting the gym for New Year's. Well, there's going to be limits in that group. There's going to be people who are going to be like, oh, this is enough and that's it, or they're going to quit. And guess what? That's going to be the energy of the collective. It's the same thing with like any sports team. Your favorite sports team, they choose their best players. They start the best players. They authorize, you know, certain players on that team to make decisions. Why? Because it impacts everybody. Everybody's there to win. Everyone is there to win. And when you're there to win, certain things and standards need to be in place in order to operate at the highest level. So when it comes to this group that you're associated with, you know, who's making the decisions? Who's influencing the group? What is the standard of the group? You know, what's the mindset of the group? Those are determining the results. So again, when it comes to a certain vision, a certain path, a certain goal, what are the standards of the group that you're associated with? What are you feeding into? What are you allowing to happen? Like, for example, yesterday I was talking to a buddy and he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try to do this. And I had to remind him about that Yoda quote, do or do not, there is no try. And he goes, oh shoot, good catch, you're right. He's like, I'm not gonna try, it's already mine. It's already mine, I'm gonna get it. I just gotta make it happen. I just gotta take the steps. It's already mine, it's already there, I just gotta go and get it. So he went from trying to get something to knowing he can get it. There's a difference. There's a difference in that step. There's a difference in that attitude. There's a difference in those words. There's a difference in those actions. Just little things like that we gotta be aware of and conscious of. So again, you got to be aware of that conscious collective. Sometimes you got to join different groups in order to start thinking differently, and that's part of the process. So I'll leave it at that. I'm going to end this video where it's at, and on to the next. Peace.